Okay, this is Course 3, Lesson 79, Transforming Formulas. I guarantee you will probably have some questions. This will be a little tricky because we're going to deal with mostly variables instead of having some numbers in these equations, and that can be a little tricky. So we're still going to use inverse operations. We just won't be able to say that the variable equals a number. It's still going to have variables in it. So if we have w equals x plus b and I want to solve for x, I can identify where my x variable is, and I need to isolate that on one side. That's what it means to solve. We need to isolate it. So I need to look at this and say, well, what operation is currently happening with x? Well, I'm adding b. So in order to isolate x, I need to subtract b from both sides. Okay, so this side is just x, because a positive b plus a negative b would be 0. That's a lot of b's. This side, I have a number, I don't know what it is, and I'm going to subtract another number from it. So the best thing that I can do here is just write that out. My first number minus my second number. That's all you can do. Until we know what the numbers are, that's it. You could write it as x equals w minus b, right? This piece just picks up and moves to the other side. That's it. Okay, we're going to do another one. We're going to solve the circumference formula for diameter. If circumference equals pi times diameter, how do I get diameter by itself? Well, I'm currently multiplying by pi, so I would need to divide both sides by pi. So C, circumference divided by pi, equals diameter. That's it. Until we know what the circumference is, we cannot figure out what the diameter is. Two more examples for you. Here's the area formula for a rectangle. It's area equals length times width. But what if I wanted to know what the length was? I can solve this for L. Okay, so instead of circling it, I'm just going to put an arrow to it. L times W. You know that. So we need to use the inverse. Divide both sides by W. So your length equals your area divided by your width. Again, until we know what our area and our width are, we will not be doing any more with that equation. This one down here might be a little tricky, so make sure you make a little note, because you will see things that are squared and have to solve for them. Okay, so we need to solve for r. Okay, and r is sitting right here. Currently it is squared and multiplied by pi. But I can't deal with this square until I unmultiply. So first I would need to divide both sides by pi. So I'm going to rewrite this. This now is area divided by pi equals radius squared. Now I do not want to solve for r squared. I want to solve just for r. So to undo a square, you have to square root both sides. So we are going to write this as the square root of a over pi equals the square root of r squared. And you know that if you have something squared under a radical, that you can kick one out, right? You can do that square root operation. So we end up with the square root of whatever the area divided by pi is equals r. That's it. Okay, so you will be asked to solve for variables, and not always will you have an answer that you like to look at. It doesn't say your length is 4. It says your length equals your area divided by your width. That's what we'll end up with. Okay, so as you're working through problems, please make sure you're asking for assistance should you need it. Otherwise, I'll see you in class.